Hello, today I'm going to be explaining how to make $128,000 in 1 to 12 months from your book idea, even if you have not sold a single copy. Now, if your book idea is published, this will be very helpful to you. And if you are yet to publish, you're just at the brink of publishing and you're thinking of ways that you can make money from the book that you are about to publish, then this is going to also help you. Now, I'm going to show you how to take a book idea that's struggling and turn that into a profit machine. Now, the first step that I would recommend is to rebrand your book idea or to fix the message of your book idea. Because most times, authors make the mistake of writing a book because they feel like writing, or writing a book because they just want to tell their story. But nobody cares about your story. If you followed me or you've listened to me long enough, you should have heard me say that already. Nobody cares about your story until they know how your story can take them from story to glory. And so I'm not necessarily saying your story is not useful, but all I'm saying is that you must craft your book in a way that is useful to people, that tells people about how they can turn their story from being just a story to being a story of glory. By using your story, you can help them see solutions to the problem that they are having. And the moment you're able to do that, then we can now go into the different steps that I'm going to show you. And so basically, the first step is to fix your message. To fix your message, and we are going to discuss that on the call on some of the things that we can do to repackage your book and fix your book so that it can become a profit machine. Now, when we are able to achieve that, I'm going to share some details with you on the call that will help you achieve that. But today's conversation or this recording is just simply to show you the framework that you can use. You can literally take this framework and use it to get your book fetching you decent income, decent cash flow. So, the first step is to generate audience. Most authors they want to sell books and they don't have anybody to sell the books to, so they put it on Amazon, expecting or hoping that people will just go on Amazon and see their book and like their book. Sometimes you can get lucky, but there are lots of bottlenecks around publishing on Amazon, and I've already explained that. You should have already heard me talk about all of the drawbacks to publishing on Amazon. And so there's a better way to make money from your book if you think like Amazon, right? What makes Amazon what it is today is that they decided to create a solution where they could help sell books to people. And from that idea, Amazon became a big giant that now sells not just books but many other things. What if you could take a page from Amazon's playbook and think like Amazon and create something that people want, right? So that's where audience generation comes in. You want to generate audience, you want to generate audience and direct that audience towards you, direct their attention towards you. You want to drive traffic towards you. So, what will you drive them to, and how can you make money from what you drive them to? You need to create a product, you need to create a program, you need to create something from your book. You can take a chapter, you can take a page, you can take a concept, a story from your book, and create a program. So, let's say you are able to do that and you create a $1,000 program from your book. If you are able to drive traffic of 100 people to that book, and you do a good job at converting those 100 people, and converting 10% of those 100 people, you're going to potentially make $10,000, right? You potentially make $10,000. Now, the first step after you generate audience, you generate interest, and you drive that traffic towards your $1,000 program that you created from your book idea. The next step will be to double your audience generation, double your client generation. If you can increase the number of people who see the program or who see the product that you've created, and this product does not even have to be created. So you may be listening to this and you're like, how do I create something when I just finished writing my book? Well, you don't even have to literally create it. You just need to come up with the idea and come up with a solution. And once you have that solution, you can test it in the marketplace to see if people are willing to pay to get that solution. Once you validate that idea, you can generate audience, you can generate interest in that offer, in that program, or whatever it is, and get them to pay you. Now, you can get people to pay you $1,000 for that program. You can get them to pay you $500. You can get them to pay you 1,005, 2,005, 5,000, and whatever you are comfortable with. But for today's analysis, we're going to leave it at $1,000. So let's assume you're able to get $1,000 program sold to 10% of these 100 people that you've just brought to your program or to your offer or to the solution that you created from your book idea. 10% of that will give you $10,000. Now, when you double the traffic, you'll be able to double your income or double the money you make without even doing any other thing. So if you double the traffic and you keep your conversion the same at 10%, you'll be able to convert $20,000 worth of sales of a $1,000 program. To get $20,000 from $1,000 program, it's just 20 people, right? And it's very doable. Now, if you're listening to this and you're saying, wow, I've never done this before, I cannot even sell a $30 book. So how can I sell a $1,000 program? Well, these things are doable, and I've seen them work for several of my clients and for even myself, right? So I'm going to show you many, many different ways that you can achieve this, right? On the call, we're going to talk more about it. But let's just leave this conversation on, just understanding this framework, at least at the very surface level, so that you have a clear idea of what we're going to discuss. Now, the next level, after doubling your audience generation, the next level is to double your audience conversion. So you have 200 people now that you've successfully brought to your offer, you brought them to your program. This program came from your book idea. So let's say it's a marriage program, let's say it's a program for couples, let's say it's a program for business owners, let's say it's a program for children, whatever it is, but you've successfully tested that program and you converted 20 people out of 200 people at 10% conversion rate. Now we want to double that conversion rate and make it 40%. And there are strategies that I can help you with to increase your conversion for that program that you've created from your book idea. And guess what? The program may not have been created at this point. The program may just be an idea, but it's an idea that has been tested and validated, right? If you're able to increase your conversion from 20 to 40%, that's another, extra $20,000 that you're going to be making. So you'll be making 40 sales from 200 people instead of 20 sales from 200 people like you were making in the previous step. So if you're making 40 sales from 200 people, that's $40,000, right? So you're instead of making $20,000 now at 20% conversion rate, you're now making $40,000 at 40% conversion rate. And there are different psychology and strategies and persuasive mechanisms that I can teach you and show you that will help you boost your conversion and take it from where it is from 20% or even 0% to 40%. But that's not the focus of today's conversation. Now, after you do that, the next step is to ascend them, audience ascension. This is like creating a premier exclusive offer. I call it a premier exclusive offer. People in the industry call it high ticket offer. But I can show you how to turn your book idea or your already written book or your yet to be written book, turn that into a high ticket offer. And once you do that, even if you're able to get only 10% of the people who bought your program at $1,000, if you're able to get just 10% of them to subscribe to this program, that would be 4 people out of 40 people who already bought at $1,000. If you get 4 people out of 40 people to buy your program at $10,000, for example, that's another $40,000, right? 4 people at $10,000, and that's 10% conversion. If you apply the strategies that you'd also learn in the previous step, which is audience conversion, if you apply it, you may be able to get 20% conversion. But let's be modest with our estimate here. Let's leave it at 10%. If you're able to convert 10% of 40 people, that's 4 people buying your $10,000 program. And these 4 people, they've already bought from you before, so they know how good your stuff is. They know the kind of transformation they can expect. And you are also doing your job in getting them to see the value in selling and in presenting the offer in a way that they cannot resist it, right? And these are things that you need to learn to be able to achieve this, right? So ascending your client is not just about slapping a very exorbitant price on a product or on a program. No, it's about giving them 10 times what they are expected to pay in return for their investment. So if you're selling something that you're going to be charging $10,000 for, you want to ensure that you can give them $100,000 worth of value in exchange for that $10,000 stuff that you're going to be selling. And when you clearly articulate that and you prove that you can give them that kind of value, it's a no-brainer. They are going to go for it. So let's assume only 4 people out of 40 people go for that. That's $40,000. And remember, we already have $40,000 in the previous steps that we have already, accumulated. Now, after that, we go to the audience retention step. And now these are different systems. There are different systems behind audience generation. You can't expect to sell your book if you have not generated an audience of hungry people that want to buy your book. And that's what we fix in the first level. The next level is audience conversion. You can't expect to make money if you cannot convert. You can send 1 million people to an offer or to a page or to a program or to a book, but if you don't convert them, it makes no sense. It's useless. The next level is audience ascension. You want to take those people who have already converted before and give them a deeper experience and a more exclusive experience. And you are giving them 10 times return on their investment, right? Now, the next step is audience retention. Let's say you can create a membership program or an app or a software and people subscribe to it. Let's say 40 people subscribe to your software or your membership program or your coaching program and they subscribe to it at $100 per month. If you are able to get 40 people pay you $100 per month, that's about $4,000 a month. And if they subscribe for a year, that's $48,000 a year, right? If you add the $48,000 with the $40,000 you're getting from Ascension and the $40,000 you're getting from audience generation and audience conversion, that's a whooping $128,000, right? But the very first step is to transform your book into something that can be put out there for something like $1,000 or more. And there are nuances to this thing. You can go and create another coaching program or create something that doesn't make sense and people will not still buy. So you have to get it right from fixing your message, fixing your methods, fixing your marketing, fixing your momentum, and then scaling from there. Now, this is something that I can explain more in our call. I decided to give you this rundown so that you have a clear idea and a clear picture of the system that I can help you deploy to get your book from where it is to where it needs to be. And this is something that you can also deploy yourself. I can give you the information that you need within the time that we spend together to also try it out yourself. So this is a strategy, and this is just one of the several strategies that I have in my toolbox to help you scale your book idea, even if you've not sold any copy before. Now, the other one is I can also show you how to make $10,000 to $50,000 before you even publish your book. But I don't want to make this recording long. I can also show you how to get 5 to 10 high ticket sales per month at least $5,000 and above. And you don't need to, create complicated funnels. You don't even need a funnel. All you need is just a simple system that I'm going to show you if the time permits us during our call. But I just wanted to show you this upfront so that you have an idea of what the strategy session is going to be like or what you can expect to get when you decide that you want to deploy the system that I can help you with. This is something like what you can expect to get. This is a result, a real result that I can help you get if you are willing and you are able and you are coachable. So I'm going to leave it here. I wanted you to listen to this and watch this before our call so that you have a frame of reference and so that you come with your questions. So if you have any questions, you can send it to me in our communication channels or you can save them for when we meet on our call. Thank you for listening and see you on our call. Have a good one. Bye.